Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!
Welcome back to the Jenny McCarthy Show. I'm Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg. You guys, there is a show that you are going to love. It's called Workin Moms. Seasons 1 and 2 start streaming on Netflix this Friday. I love that they're giving us seasons 1 and 2 because you're going to want to snort it, live it, love it. Ugh! Catherine, is it Reitman? Yay, I got it right.
Yes.
I never pronounce anything right. But Catherine, hi, welcome to my show.
Thank you. It's so great to be here.
Thank you. And man, this show is as real as it gets. It's hilarious. I mean, who did you pitch it to that you can get it made? I mean, because I feel like this should have been out there.
I agree with you, man. I don't know how this is now just the first time that the show of Working Mothers is being on television.
Right.
But we had actually originally sold it to FX. And they were sort of developing it at the same time as Better Things. And thank God Better Things moved on to extraordinary heights. And this went to the CBC. We took it to Canada. I'm a Canadian.
That's why you're so funny.
Well, thank you. It's why I'm not afraid of moose. But
sorry about that.
Sorry about that. I was actually born and raised in LA. My parents are Canadian.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you know, we make the show out there. It's on its third season out in Canada, and it'll be season 1 and 2 now here in America, Netflix.
And tell me about the ladies on the show because it's just unbelievable.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's based off of look, I had postpartum depression with my first kid, and it kept making me laugh. I kept envisioning death fantasies, like getting stuck in a hospital, or being electrocuted for 20 minutes, just getting away and out of my own way temporarily.
I get it.
It felt like a vacation. And when I brought that up in my Mommy and Me group, they were disgusted with me. And I was like, why? You know what? I can't be the only one who's feeling this insanity.
Right.
So I wrote it down, and I just sort of fleshed out 4 characters that felt like different, very flawed, embarrassing parts of me.
Right. 4 different versions, because we're not just one thing. We are a sum of a bunch of parts.
Although Hollywood wouldn't make you feel so. I feel like I've played nothing but best friends, villains, all with sort of one motivation.
I know.
Oh, you know.
I played the trophy wife. I get it.
Well, it's very rare that someone is as hot and funny as you are. So they don't know what to do with that. It breaks the system.
No, that's why I went to radio. So how many kids do you have?
I got 2 kids, 2 and 5.
And how much of your then life stories are in the show?
All of it, man. All of it. In
really?
fact, at the end of the second episode, when you have a kid on a TV show, you usually get twins. And both my twins were asleep for a breastfeeding sequence. And in the show, you see my breasts. I breastfeed. It's all very out there, as it would be
as in real life.
Just like real life, we have breasts. And you could see them. But the kids were asleep, so my 3-month-old at the time, that's right, I was shooting a show with a 3-month-old because I'm psycho. He was visiting me, and I was like, you know what, I'll just use him in the scene. And because I'd been working so much, my breast milk had stopped.
Oh, no.
And it was scripted as he doesn't latch on, he gets angry, heartbreaking, credits. And I was like, well, this will be perfect because my kid hates my breasts. They produce nothing but air and misery. And I put him on, and he latched on for the first time in months, Jenny.
Oh, my God.
So I start crying in the scene, and the end of the episode is completely different now. She has a win.
I hear you thinking that he's going to cry and just have a conniption fit.
No, he got sustenance for the first time in weeks. I gave him nutrients.
Did you notice yourself leaking? I'd love to talk about this.
Yes.
In the weirdest places.
Everywhere.
Whenever Oprah would come on for some reason.
She does it for you. She triggers you.
My tits would just squirt. I'm like, what the fuck?
Totally. It happened for me when my hormones went raging and I was super horny with my second kid all the time, which I know is
No, I was too.
All of a sudden I was like, hey, husband, I'm like, let's do this. Let's try crazy shit now, And then all of a sudden my milk would come out and he'd be like, I'm half here. You know what I mean? I got my foot out the door right now.
Seriously, I remember thinking I need to shove something in my vagina now.
Yes,
Give me a lamp, anything.
All of a sudden I'm like, let's try some weird porn now. Let's get listed by the FBI. This is the moment.
This makes me laugh. I'm talking to Catherine Reitman. The show's called Workin Moms. Seasons 1 and 2 start streaming on Netflix this Friday. For those people that are going well, tell us a little bit about what it's about. Please do.
So it's about 4 women who just had children who are all returning to work. These women are all very different. And it's about kind of the naughty word we're not allowed to talk about, being selfish.
Right.
That, my character, for instance, really wants to go to work. Maybe didn't even want to have a kid to begin with. Loves her kid now. Because this is sort of modeled after my life.
Right.
Thank God I had him, and thank God I had my second one. But I was terrified, as I should have been, because having a child is in direct conflict with what we're raised to believe, which is we go to school, we develop personalities, we become people. We're supposed to be beautiful people, both inside and out, and yet we're somehow then supposed to get pregnant and wreck all of that shit.
Totally.
And it's very confusing.
It is, and then our hearts get broken, and we're confused. Is whether stay home, or we're going to miss these years, these important years. And then, I quickly realized, because the first 6 months I wouldn't want to leave the room. I just held Evan and said, I'm going to sell Avon products from home.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was the only breadwinner in the family, so I had to go back to work.
Jesus.
And so I went, but then I slowly realized, oh my God, working moms. It's a lot easier for me.
Oh, yes.
It was. Because then on Saturdays and Sundays, I would be like, oh my God, I cannot play fucking choo-choo one more time.
Oh, for sure. Look, I've been a stay-at-home mom, and that is the hardest, most commendable job
ever
on the planet Earth. And going to work is a luxury. I got lashes on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I get to have a nice, calm lunch and use the toilet without interruption.
And
But I also get guilted. Like, on the drive here, my son said to me, he's 5, he goes, I put a letter in the mail, Mommy, because I feel I'll never see you again.
Oh my God.
I was like, gotta go, hun. Off to Sirius.
My son
Don't forget to eat.
does the same thing. He's 16. I go, I have to leave again. He goes, again? And he goes, what's more important, your job or me?
No, illegal.
I was like, you know what? That's not fair.
What'd you say?
I said, you know what, Evan? I have to I start off with the roof, and I stop and I go, you know what? Because I love it.
Beauty. What you just did is beautiful. And I hope a bunch of moms are listening, because that is the healthiest thing you can say. It's not just, oh, we have to make the bills, which is true. But also, we should be allowed. This is like a 1950s thing we're talking about, as if it's brand new.
Totally.
That we just love and are passionate about our careers.
Right?
I don't remember Donald Draper complaining about this, or Walter White.
Not at all. And I expect that it's going to, when he's older, be okay, and to say to his loved one, because I love what I'm doing.
And that loved one that he chooses will probably be a stronger person, whether it's woman or male. I don't know his deal. But either way, he's probably going to be attracted to strong, well-rounded women because you were doing this.
He's talking about, I hope other moms hear this. What drives you crazy about other moms? Because, I could make a whole show just on that.
Oh, fully. So it's interesting, because I wrote this show because when I told the mommies in my Mommy and Me group that I was fantasizing about death, they really ostracized me. So there's a Mommy and Me group that takes place on my show where, like, all of us sort of beat up, we bully the sort of perfect mom who Instagrams everything perfectly. And the irony is, I've since watched it and been like, wait a minute, we're the bullies.
Oh my God.
And so I've had this like aha moment that like, all I want to do is be angry at moms who do things perfectly and present that way. But I cannot then in turn be the bully, right? So for me, a full circle thing is happening. I'm telling you, you caught me a year too late for this one. Because I used to shit on moms. Man.
But though, this is going to make a great arc for the show, I must say.
Yes. Well, that we actually have so much in connected, and we're all flawed and we're all struggling, right?
Because that blueberry pie making mom, is suffering somewhere else.
She bought that shit.
Thank you.
She put it in her own pan.
Thank you.
And now she's looking like a hero. And we feel that's a personal attack, or at least I do. I feel like that's making me feel like I don't do anything because I store by everything.
Nice.
I've never homemade a Halloween costume. I'm doing my best.
I've done that.
You homemade a costume?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you make?
I made a teddy. This is like a nightmare. Not on Elm Street, but some weird video game. They're all into video games. And so they have these creatures that they don't sell at Target.
Yes.
So you have to fucking make them like you're back in the 70s. Remember your parents made you,
yeah.
I was a fucking pillow and
exactly.
a lotto ball and an M&M.
I get to wear one of your dresses.
And it was all pillowcases.
Yes.
So I've had to take up sewing and learn how to make little costumes.
You literally sewed a costume.
Yeah.
I worship you.
Well, I worship myself for that.
As you should.
I was really fucking proud of that.
Did he love it?
He loved it.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
And he still wears it around the house with his friends. It's a weird thing.
So
Let's
now
not
this
get
is a
started.
different conversation.
Yeah, it is a different conversation. I know. I'm like, you're not going to grow up to be a furry, Evan. It's not going to happen.
No, don't let that happen. Get him a therapist.
Kathy's got one. Catherine Reitman. Workin Moms season 1-2 streams on Netflix this Friday. It is, you guys, I promise you, it's going to be one of your favorite shows of all time. I'm not shitting you. Will you take a picture with me?
Of course.
All right, we'll be right back.
Bye.
Jenny McCarthy Show. Oh!